Happy Friday, everyone, and welcome to the Friday Tech Bytes stream. We're going to do a really special episode. We're going to do a recap of VMon Update. I'm joined by the one and only KS. How you doing, Kirsten?
Hi, everyone. TGIF. Man, it's been a wild week here at Veeam with the VeeamON updates. So if you missed it, good thing you're joining because we're going to talk about some of the cool things that we talked about during the session on Wednesday.
So we're going to talk about what we talked about.
Yeah, that's pretty much what we
That's
always
it.
talk about, right?
That is what we talk about. But we see that some of you are talking about it. And bienvenido, Patricia. Let us know where you're from. Drop in the chat of the stream that you're watching because we're TriCasting across LinkedIn, I think Facebook, YouTube. I'm watching the YouTube, or no, that's LinkedIn. I'm watching this stream. Let us know where you're from. Drop your country or your US state, and we're going to light up the application. We love doing that. So Kirsten and I both are in the Ohio office. We've got producers both in Romania and Atlanta in the US. Oh, we've already got some good hits. I like it. Map it up. Map it up. Well, it's some interesting. That might be a first with one of those. Oh, hey, Steve, just down the road. All right. So, Kirsten, VMon update. What is that? New word.
Yeah, VeeamON update basically was just a 2-hour session where we talked about some of the updates that was coming from Veeam. So we just released 11A. So we talked about what 11A brought to our Veeam platform, and also some updates with Veeam Backup for Office 365, the Veeam Backup for the cloud, so which we talked about last week on LinkedIn Live, Veeam Service Provider Console, and so much more. So it was really just a good, middle of the way, almost to VeeamON in May of 2022, but we wanted to keep it fresh for you and, talk about some Veeam stuff.
Indeed, it was really a nice kind of journey from what we did. And then it is really focused, and I say sharp focused on the right now. But we broke that rule. We did a little preview of something that's coming. But yeah, it was really broken down to these 6 journeys here. Kind of an intro, some product updates, cybersecurity and orchestration, the as a service story, and the voice of the customer. That's always cool to have the customer stories. And actually, we had it split. We had 2 from the Americas, 2 from EMEA, and 2 from the APJ region. And then we kind of looked into the future with the cloud and containers world. Was there any one of those, Kirsten, that kind of stuck out as a favorite section for you?
I would say just like the enhancements around the Veeam Service Provider Console was interesting to me. Anthony did a great job demoing the console and showing us, some of the new capabilities that it's available. And then also, you can't forget about cybersecurity and orchestration. I know, Rick, that's one of your favorite things to talk about. And you, Jason, and Melissa all did a great job showing how Veeam can do that.
Yeah, one thing, Anthony did a really good job. I actually got to say he gets the award because his stuff was really tight, crisp, and clear, and he always does a great job. So thank you, Anthony Spiteri. And yeah, Melissa and Jason did a great job as well with their cybersecurity story. And it was really cool. We actually were very intentional to try to weave through a similar storyline across the time, especially that first part, the main 2-hour section. We really tried to, bring a cohesive story through. And, when we look at this, here we're taking a look at some of the updates across the different products. It was really kind of fun. We brought us up to date from what happened earlier in the year. V11 was a huge release, and a lot of people take their time to get started with a major platform update like that. And I get it, it's a lot of potential just unknown, like what do I need to do, what is this going to change with my environments, right? But we really wanted to focus on the right now and since May. But we had one little secret up our sleeve, didn't we, Kirsten?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, and you can announce it. What was our big announcement to the future?
Yeah, well, it was Veeam Backup for Salesforce.
Indeed, indeed. So there will be an additional Veeam product that will be coming out. So Veeam Backup for Salesforce. And when you look at Veeam here in the market, we've tried to build this platform across the data center, cloud, software as a service, containers. And the software as a service story was thus far limited to Microsoft 365. And I've had a number of client queries where they've asked about this. So this is going to be cool. And did I tell you the little secret, Kirsten? Well, if I didn't tell you, Danny did about the Salesforce product. Did you remember what that is?
I remember that we used our own giant Salesforce environment to, kind of model this Veeam backup for Salesforce. And it's really cool because I've used Salesforce at Veeam now for 7 years, but even the company that I worked at before Veeam, I used Salesforce. So it's really like integrated in every organization today. Everybody's using it.
Yeah, that's just it. This product will be built upon our own implementation. So wherever you are around the world, people are using Salesforce. We're going to have a product, and you can find out more about that into the next year. Speaking of around the world, let's take a look at the application. Great interaction so far. So thank you everyone for letting us know where you're from. So we have, let's see here, in the Americas, we got Canada, we've got Ohio again, cool, Indiana, Massachusetts, Chicago, North Carolina, Alabama. Let's head over to Europe. Over in Europe, we have, let's see, we've got Germany, Portugal, Romania, Greece, Swiss, and the UK. Awesome. Thank you for sharing that. And then let's go back south, Latin America. We had Mexico, and we've got Brazil and Colombia. And thank you both, everyone, for sharing there. And then over in the Middle East and into Asia, we've got another good representation there. We've got Turkey, Uzbekistan, Kazakhstan, India, and Singapore. Piece of trivia, Kirsten, did you know I'm kind of superstitious like that?
No.
Lucky charms. At any point in any day, it's a true story, always upon my person, I always carry 10 Singapore dollars with me at all times. I am spooky, suspicious, or superstitious like that because Singapore is my favorite place in the world to visit. Love that place. So anyways, there you go. Holla, holla. $10. Anyways, so Kirsten, one of the biggest milestones was Veeam backup and replication V11A. What did that update mean to you?
It meant, platform support. It also meant the public beta for Veeam backup for RHV, which is also really cool. I know I work in the Spiceworks community, and a lot of times they ask for, another hypervisor to be supported by Veeam backup. And that's awesome. And we have that for RHV now. Kubernetes, it's the talk of the town. I know, Rick, you love use some Kubernetes, so.
I do. I've been playing with it. I'm getting almost dangerous. Actually, I was dangerous before I started, but that's okay.
Yeah.
And well, speaking of when we say Veeam backup and replication V11A, there's a cloud in there. What's the GCP story?
Yeah, we can actually now have your GCP backups within Veeam backup and replication. So similar to how you can see your AWS backups and Azure backups in Veeam backup and replication, you can now see your GCP backups in there as well. So really, getting the ability to restore from Veeam backup and replication and, see those backup policies there as well.
What's cool also about GCP as well as Amazon and Azure, because it's already been there, is the ability to take an image-based backup and restore it to that cloud. We direct restore to the cloud. I remember, when that came out, that was actually a pretty cool thing. A lot of uptick on that. The Unix agents, big update. Instant recovery to the Nutanix hypervisor. When you mentioned Spiceworks, yeah, it's funny. I used to do a lot in Spiceworks as well, and it's always like, well, I need you to do this, Veeam. I need you to do that, Veeam. And so it's good to see new things coming along.
Yes.
I think, and this, by the way, went fully available, so fully GA on October 7th, if I remember right. And then it went into early availability late September. I want to say it was like the last Friday of September. And then there was this guy going the wrong way. There was this guy talking about ransomware. That was one big theme of Veeam as well. And when we look at ransomware here at Veeam, this was something that I did as the session here, and anybody watching this will see I'm going to come back to this as a little trick here. I really highlighted a story about the alignment to the NIST cybersecurity framework, and then also some of the immutability options. Kirsten, we just did another chat on ransomware and immutability. And, if you had to give one immutable takeaway for the audience, what would you offer to them today?
That's a good question, Rick. And I think that, setting up immutability to meet your business's requirements is something that every organization should think about, because immutability is going to make sure that your data remains unchanged from being modified or deleted. So depending on how long you want that data to stay safe from being changed or deleted is really something that you need to think about and, put in your backup storage, right? Set that immutability time frame and have that as like a hardened Linux repository, or have it in object storage or S3 compatible object storage, and
or both.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And let me phrase it another way. People who don't have one or more copies of backup data that are immutable, those are the types of environments that are really least likely to ensure recovery in a ransomware event. I'll put it that simple. So our story is really around Veeam 1 Rockin. I did a quick demo of that, and aligning to the framework, as well as having more immutable options than ever. So I love this view here of the scale out backup repository. And this is one of the slides I used directly from the event. And actually, Kirsten, I'm so mad at myself because I forgot something very important. So that's why I put this slide in this recap, because I forgot something very important. I was running out of time. But the story I told is about having one copy of immutable data on, say, the hardened Linux repository, having a second copy on the capacity tier with object lock, and this can be the public AWS or other S3 compatible storages, those that have the object lock with immutability Veeam ready status. This is that double play immutability where you have two independent copies of your backup data that are both immutable and with completely different technologies on how they do that immutability. So take the immutable file system on Linux with hardened, we call it the hardened repository, and then also think about those object locks, two different copies. The one thing I forgot to say is that both of these copies of the data are completely independent from each other. They do not have a persistent connection back to the Veeam backup and replication server, and they're a complete discrete restore point. So you can drive complete recovery with either one of these two copies. I forgot to say that. It's kind of important. What's up with me? I don't know. Fancy lights up in that studio. It threw me a loop. But when when we were talking about ransomware earlier today, Kirsten, what was kind of the magic technology I think that people need to start using to get their head around this?
That's a good question. I guess it would be, thinking about the different types of media that you have.
The media, for
You have
sure.
different types of media you can use. So, and maybe you want to use tape. Maybe you want to use replication. Maybe you want to use
Yep.
rotating
Yep.
hard drives. So there's a lot of different types of media. But also, you want to also remember that 3-2-1 rule, having those multiple copies of your data available to you. And yeah, like what do you think, Rick?
I think the one thing that I think a lot of people might miss on this is copy mode on the scale out backup repository. So when we configure the sober or scale out backup repository, we got to remember that copy mode, because that makes all of that story make sense. So that's important, I think, that we bring it up that way. But now let's talk about your favorite product.
Yeah.
So Veeam 1 V11A took a major update as well. We highlighted a couple bits there. Why don't you give us a summary of what's coming with this now?
Yeah, so Veeam 1 V11A was released, and as many of you know, if you've tuned into one of these Friday Tech Bites before, Veeam One is an important part of Veeam Availability Suite. It's, Veeam Backup and Replication's best friend. So we, added a little bit more visibility with your Google Cloud policies and the IBM AIX Oracle Solaris agents. So being able to, monitor your backup policies, getting a bit more of alarms on, your backup state, and different things like that are available. These are also going to be integrated with some of the reports that will show you your backup policies. So think public cloud data protection. I think that's one of the reports. Your agent backup history report. So information about those different backup policies will be included in them. Then you have to think your hardened repository. So we introduced configuration visibility, being able to see, immutability state, whether it's enabled or not. Along with immutability change tracking, a couple alarms that we added. Then enterprise reporting. So one of my favorite reports from the enterprise reporting that was introduced is the workload protection history report. This is going to show you the amount of unique workloads that are being backed up, as well as the success rate in percentage and the failure rate in percentage. So if you haven't updated to V11A yet, or if you have, make sure you check out that report. I think you'll find it definitely useful. And then CDP, just providing a little bit more extra enhancements and visibility into your CDP policies. So a lot has been added. It might seem small, but when you think about it, it's actually a lot.
Kirsten, you are just throwing down on this Friday stream. Rock on. I love it. I love it. So yeah, there's so much into it. And speaking of so much, we got so much more entries. We're going to go back to the map. We have a couple of new entries. Let's start in North America. We've added Colorado. I know a guy in there. And down, let's see, we also have, I lost my view. We also have, let's see, we have, Colorado. And then we've added over in Europe, we've added Czech Republic, going to be there next week, France, Italy, that's cool. In Africa, we've got Mauritius and Mozambique. Welcome. And then over in the Asia region, we've added Pakistan and Thailand. I could go for some good Thai food. So good stuff. Awesome. So let's carry on as we get kind of close. Guess what? There was our main general general session for the VeeamON update. But you can go on the page and actually get a whole bunch of partner and regional focused content here. So, Kirsten, I thought this was really cool because we have a lot of stuff for our partners. And if you look back at the VeeamON event in May, we really didn't have too much partner content. But I think we fixed that problem here, eh?
Yeah, I feel like our partners is part of Veeam's DNA. We love our partners. We want to enable them to, give more of Veeam, whether it be, backup as a service, disaster recovery as a service, any type of stuff. So I don't know. Is there anything else that you would like to add, Rick?
Well, no, just the main thing on these different sessions, and sorry, I accidentally clicked too quick, was that partners are in our DNA. I like that. I wonder where I heard that one before. But the partner stuff is pretty cool. And one of the things I want to highlight here, and I apologize, I did embed some videos here. This is, and I'm too clicky. That's something I got to watch here. But one of the things, here's a pro trick or a pro tip that I wanted to highlight for you. When you do the replay on the website, so I'm going to zoom in here on this session by Drew, you can do replay at faster speeds. So if you're time constrained like I am, you can do, and let's zoom in right there, so I can play it back at 1.75 or whatever rate works for you, that can help you be a little bit more specific with your time. So there's a little pro tip. I like to do that. Do you ever do fast playback, Kirsten, on things like that? I don't know. Maybe I'm just weird like that.
No, I don't, unfortunately. I like to listen to it slowly so I don't miss anything,
I guess I'm like a bird where, I've got like this high metabolism or brain waves going on. Who knows? Maybe I'd be skinnier if I had that. Who knows? But guess what? There's more. I wanted to highlight that we are actually going to add 4 additional pieces of content. So we've got 3 different Q&A sessions. What's this format of the Q&A session, Kirsten?
So basically, these Q&A sessions, when we were working the VMon event, we got a ton of questions from everybody. So these Q&A sessions are basically us, answering those questions. So it's a lot of a question and then an answer format. So definitely check those out, especially maybe if you needed a little bit more information or you needed something described a little bit more in detail. These are some good sessions that you can attend.
Yeah, we had great feedback through the stream, but we answered some, but we also saw there were some really consistent questions, and um, that's where we have, taken those questions and aggregated into like a question and answer readout. So really good, really informative, and springboards to other things. In fact, I really like the ransomware one, Kirsten. So we did good on that this morning. So thank you for that. In fact, you may or may not see me wearing the same shirt on some of these things. Who knows? So the cloud native backup, Microsoft 365 ransomware, and then the V11A upgrade workshop. What I've done is take my environment and I went end to end with the upgrade, so I recorded that. We had a question come in from Albert. Albert's question is, this was on Facebook. Will you plan to develop backup server on Linux platform? Tricky. I know where you're going with that, Albert. Let me answer that question in the form of Veeam's behavior currently. Our three newest products, Veeam Backup for AWS, Azure, and GCP, are all built and tooled on Linux. Salesforce product will be as well. So it's natural to think that that's a priority here. But if you're talking about Veeam Backup and Replication, right, that's currently not available on a Linux platform, but a lot of the components are. We've been on a journey. We added NFS repositories. We added Linux proxies. We added more transport modes for Linux proxies. We added XFS repositories. You can see where we're going with it, right? Stay tuned. Can't really rock out the roadmap on the live streams. I'm not an animal. All right. So, Kirsten, where can we go for more information?
So definitely check out vmon.com. That's where you're going to be able to replay the session and also get some on-demand content covering, I think one was VBO, 8 facts you need to know about Veeam Backup for Office 365. There's a session that me and Melissa did, CDP Trifecta. So definitely check that out. Rick, I know you had some sessions that were recorded on there as well.
I can't even remember anymore, but yeah, I think everyone's graced with this haircut in there. And the one thing I'll highlight is we are planning the VeeamON 2022. We're targeting a hybrid event in Las Vegas. We'll have soon some information up about that. Hard to get too far out with anything these days, but I think there's market need for that. And then late welcomes to Kuwait and Jordan. Thank you for that. Appreciate that. And then I want to also draw attention to the Monday show. The Monday Industry Insights session will be Dave Russell hosting Andy Langsam. He's in charge of our cloud native sales business, right? And he's got a lot of experience. Yeah, he runs the business of the selling for that and some of like the Kasten and the cloud native backup products. But the topic on Monday will be Veeam's Cloud Vision and latest products. So that's really going to be a good session. It's very much what I call Act 2, Veeam Strategic into the Future. So I'm actually going to try to tune in for that, or at least catch the replay. Good stuff. Well, Kirsten, hey, thank you so much for joining me on today's stream.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Well, on behalf of our producers based in both Atlanta and in the Europe Center in Romania, I want to thank everyone, both on the production and the other social media teams, to help bring this content to you. And for those of you attending, thank you so much for spending time with us. Enjoy the weekend. Thanks for watching, everyone.